Hi beautiful people, welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Ruth Chiji. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, some people don't like subscribing, they just want to come when they see the videos. I don't care, okay? Now I feel like this channel is it's kind of leaning towards a certain niche, but I'm not very sure. I'm not stressing myself trying to figure my things out. I'm just going to do what I want to do when I want to do it because I can. Now one thing about me is I love talking to myself. I love talking to myself a lot. You guys probably know that if you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or you just know anything about Ruth. She loves talking a lot, and hence why I post a lot of videos of myself talking across my platforms. Now, usually for most of the videos that I do post on my stories, status, or TikTok, it starts off with me talking to myself. And then I'm like, you know what? I think more people should hear this. And then I pick up the phone and record. So this is literally the same thing that's happening right now. And I think that's kind of how I want to treat YouTube as well. I think, let's not make YouTube too serious. Anyway, so from the title, today we're going to talk about you don't need to love yourself or like yourself, but you should respect yourself. Yesterday, which was Sunday, I was on TikTok like I always am, and I came across a TikTok of this lady talking about literally what I just mentioned, and she was saying how you don't need to think or feel pretty. You don't need to think you're attractive. You don't need to find yourself attractive. You don't need to find yourself beautiful. You don't need to find yourself, to be the prettiest. You don't even need to love yourself or maybe like yourself, but you should respect yourself. And that kind of made me pause. It was, when you hear something, when you hear like that's the definition of a hot take. Like the take is so hot, you have to first sit down and drink some water. Yes, let's sit down, drink some water, and we hear you speak in detail. And that was really what it was. But it got me thinking, and I was like, I actually agree with what she's saying. And I think a lot of people, I'm going to be looking down at my notes, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to make this very brief. Hopefully it's brief. A lot of people, hear love yourself and they translate it into I should think I'm beautiful. I should never criticize myself. I should I should always feel confident. I should not have insecurities even. I should wake up feeling amazing every day. And I think what now happens is, when you don't feel those things, you now tend to conclude that, oh, I don't have self-love, or I guess I don't love myself. But the thing with respect is, respect doesn't depend on how you feel when you look in the mirror in the morning. Respect doesn't depend on maybe you not liking yourself the next day, even if you did the previous day. Respect is a standard. It's you saying, I may not think I'm the prettiest person, but I'm still not going to let someone walk over me. I'm still not going to let people, treat me badly, treat me disrespectfully and all that stuff. I may not love every, part of my body, but I'm still going to take care of it. I'm still going to feed it right. I'm still going to move my body. I'm still going to, take care of it. I'm still going to look after it. I may not feel confident, but I'm still going to apply for that opportunity because I deserve to give myself that opportunity. I deserve to do things out of my comfort zone. I deserve to give myself a chance. I may be disappointed in myself, but I'm still going to keep the promises I made to myself. So from this, we see that respect is an action, whereas love is described as we know it as a feeling. And we know that feelings are fleeting. Feelings are, they fluctuate. They're not constant. They're not consistent. And, something that I also relate to, or something that I do, I'm going to be honest, is I find myself in these cycles of I like myself, but then I don't. But then, just like as I said in the beginning, but then does that mean that I don't like myself at all? There are times I'm like, oh, Ruth, you're beautiful, and today you look good, and this, that, the hair is banging, the outfit is looking nice, and blah, 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 blah. And then there are times, which is most of the time, forgive my language, but this is actually how I talk to myself, okay? We're being honest here. Most of the time, I look at myself and I'm like, what the actual yuck? Like, what the actual bigottery are we looking at here? Like, I have so many mirrors in my house and I'm not used to this. I have one literally staring at me right now on my side. I hate my side profiles. Okay. It's staring at me. Oh, I did it again. It's literally staring. I have like 3 in the corridor. I have like 2 in the kitchen. It's too much. I hate looking at myself in the mirror. I hate it so much. So I go through these cycles of like terribly hating myself and saying these bad things about myself to myself. And then on the flip side, on some days I can then be like, I'm so amazing. Like, I was literally going through my old TikToks and I found a video that I made 2025 May when I had cut my hair really short. Never doing that again. Okay. But I remember the video was basically me posting pictures that I took that day. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I love posting myself. I love myself. And you guys know this, like when Ruth wants to praise herself, when she wants to talk about how amazing she looks, she's going to do it. And then when I want to talk bad about myself, I'm going to go all out, all out or all in or all out, you get. So I was not like, okay, do I like myself or do I not like myself? And then also now recently, it's also now gone past me not only disliking my physical appearance, but also some aspects of myself eternally. For example, my attachment style, which I learned, I think early this year or late last year, that I am an avoidant. It was very eye-opening. We're going to talk about that in a different video, but I do hate that part of myself so bad. And so many other things, like how my mind works and how I think, why do I feel these things, and like, anyways, that's just a little example to kind of get you understand how I'm feeling. But I think, people also assume that these two things have to go together, right? By two things, I mean, I struggle to find myself beautiful, but I actually like myself, so it's not like it's not like I'm hating myself every time, like, but like most of the time, but also the other times, it's like you can kind of tell, like Ruth kind of, anyways. So yeah, people assume that these two things have to go together, but the thing is they don't. And, you can genuinely enjoy your own company. You can like being by yourself, with yourself. You can think you're funny. You can think you have an amazing personality. You can admire your resilience. You can be proud of your values. You can trust your judgment and still look in the mirror and say, I don't like what I see. I don't like what I see at all. And those aren't the same questions. I think, one says, do I like, or what do I think about my appearance? While the other is, what do I think about the person I am? So they are related, but they're not identical. I also like to think of respect or self-respect as keeping promises to myself. Imagine you had a friend who constantly said things like, oh, I'll call you later. We should hang out. I'll help you do that, babe. I'll be there for you. Okay, call me when you need me. And then they never show up. They never show up. Eventually you stop trusting them. Eventually you stop reaching out to them. Eventually you stop making plans with them. Okay? And, we often do that to ourselves. If you think about it, we often do that to ourselves. We say things like, I will start on Monday. Okay, if you know, you know. I'll start on Monday. I will go for the walk. I will sign up for the gym. I will start reading the Bible. I'll start going to church. I will start applying for jobs. I will start doing this. I will stop texting them. I'll go to bed early, and the list goes on, And every broken promise chips away at that self-respect little by little. And every kept promise, even something as little as I'm going to lay in my bed every day, I'm going to drink more water than soda and whatnot, it kind of builds it back. It builds it back because, and I think that's why discipline can sometimes increase self-respect, because it's more of the commitments that you keep to yourself. So I think discipline builds self-respect more than affirmations do. Think about it. We've had people say things like, I respect people that go to the gym or that have a gym body, like the gym bros and the gym girls, because you look at them, you see how they look, you see the body, and you can clearly tell these people put in the work. And putting in that work came from movement, consistent movement, getting up early, eating the right foods, moving their body as much as they do. And you have this, it's almost automatic. You have this admiration for them. And it's like, wow, you're so disciplined to do that and to show up for yourself that we are now seeing the results. It builds the self-respect you have for them, or rather the respect you have for them. And I'm sure it also builds the self-respect they have of themselves, right? And it also reminds me of a book I read a while ago called You're Not Enough, and That's Okay. I've forgotten the author. I'll probably put it on the screen. And, the book basically pushes against the modern message that our value comes from believing that we're enough on our own. And, its argument is that constantly trying to convince yourself that you're perfect can become exhausting, because deep down we all know we have our flaws, right? So instead it encourages us acknowledging our limitations honestly, rather than pretending that they don't exist. So basically in this book, she's saying that you don't have to pretend that you're perfect in order to have dignity. Two, admitting your weaknesses isn't the same as hating yourself. Three, your worth shouldn't rise and fall based on your appearance, your achievements, or other people's opinions. And then lastly, humility and self-respect can exist together. And I think that last point is the one that I really like, because there is a difference between saying I'm the most beautiful person in the room and saying, whether I'm the most beautiful person in the room or not, I still deserve respect, and I'm going to respect myself. And I think the second one feels more stable, because I understand why the ladies say things like, oh, walk into that room like you own the room, and I get the intention, but then again, no, and sometimes I often like to think of it like this, or we can think of it like this. Self-esteem asks, how highly do I think of myself? Self-respect asks, how do I choose to treat myself? And then lastly, self-love asks, how warmly do I feel towards myself? And I think when it comes to self-respect, that's the one that's really within our control. How do you choose to treat yourself? How do you choose to treat yourself? And I think that's really why that, TikTok really resonated with me, because, instead of chasing a feeling like, oh, I need to believe I'm beautiful, you can instead focus on questions like, am I speaking to myself with basic decency? I guess that's why people say like, oh, speak to yourself like you would speak to other people. I am the proper example of I don't do what I preach. Guys, I think I give good advice. Do I take my advice? No. Come to me for advice. I will probably give you a good one. Will I take my advice? No. I will speak to you nicely. They always say, speak to yourself like you would speak to your little sister, or that you would speak to your friend. I'm not speaking to myself like that. So questions like, am I keeping the promises I made to myself? And I think for me, that's a really big one. And I've noticed it. I notice how quick I am to dismiss the promises I've made to myself, how quick I am to dismiss the plans I've made for myself. But when it comes to other people, I will show up. I will show up. And the funny thing, if someone now makes a promise to me and they don't keep it, I'm mad. Because hello, especially if you went out of your way to now make a promise. I didn't even ask you. So why is it when we now do it to ourselves, it's like, because that's how we have trained ourselves. That's how we have trained our mind. We need to, I was watching another TikTok and someone was like, we need to be very strict with ourselves in terms of like, give yourself a little, is this the right word? Punishment if you don't stick to the plans that you made for yourself. Well, some will say give yourself grace, but there is time for gentle parenting and there is time to be strict, okay? So if you find that, you're past the gentle parenting, you've let yourself go too long, too far, be strict. Hey, Ruth, get it together. What's going on? Give yourself a little tough talk, okay? Get a board meeting. Bring the the sheets out, the papers and pens, and sit with yourself and your other personalities and be like, girl, we need to get it together. Okay. The other question is, am I allowing people to cross my boundaries? Some of you don't even know your boundaries. You don't even have boundaries. It's until somebody has crossed them, and then you now start feeling, that was weird. Was it just me? But that was weird. You don't even know. You don't even know if that boundary has been crossed. You don't even know. You never set boundary in the first place. You don't even you're just waiting for things to happen before you now take action. I don't think that should always be the case. Then the other question is, am I making decisions that future me will appreciate? Am I making decisions that I will appreciate in the future? I know we can't always know what's going to happen in the future, but the things you can control now, the things you can manage now, the things you can foresee now, let's act in them. And then lastly, am I treating myself like someone whose life matters? You matter, I matter, we all matter. No one is here just being useless. We refuse to be useless. So we're going to treat ourselves like we matter. We're going to respect ourselves like we matter, because we do matter. Anyway, so yeah, these questions don't require you to believe that you're gorgeous. They just require you to believe that you're worthy of respect. That's it. You're worthy of respect. You're worthy of respect. And I think perhaps over time, that's what creates a quieter, steadier, and kind of confidence. Not just, not the confidence that says, oh, I'm the best and I'm the baddest in the room, and, none of these hoes can be like me. And no. That confidence is so fleeting. I'm telling you, that confidence is so fleeting, guys. When I think of the woman I want to be a woman that respects herself, because people can tell somebody that respects themselves. I know. People can tell somebody that respects themselves. I do have some certain aspects where I have strong boundaries, and there are ways you cannot speak to me, and there are ways you cannot relate with me. And I know that people have noticed, because people don't treat me like that. And I've had friends say that, oh, I know that person can't treat you like that because they know that, oh, Ruth is not like that. So people pay attention. People pay attention. They probably don't even do it intentionally, but like, we're just humans. So we're just natural observers, But yeah, I hope this video, it's exactly 20 minutes. Probably might edit it a bit. I don't know, maybe not too much editing, because I think I say things in a nice, cohesive, coherent way. But thank you guys for watching this. I hope you've learned something, and I hope that you do a little reflection, because I think this requires some form of reflection, finding ways to respect yourself. Respect is so important. It will take you so far. And I think that's really where the self-love lies, if you ask me. All right, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.